Hello, everyone. I hope you are having a good time in the IBM symposium today. Thank you for joining us. And in this session today, I'm going to talk about how IBM Power Systems are bringing in agility and accelerating business insights for clients who are running SAP HANA. Uh, I will take just a few minutes to talk about what exactly is needed to run SAP HANA. It's an in-memory computing platform. It enables business processes. It accelerates them because it's an in-memory computing. And of course, it is delivering more intelligence and of course, simplification to the IT environments. So what exactly is required to run SAP HANA? There are a few things purely from an infrastructure standpoint, which is the higher frequency on the CPU side, because more cycles give definitely a better performance. And for a long time, processor vendors are struggling with how to keep the processor frequency as high as possible, at the same time being able to manage the heat which is thrown out of the CPUs. The more cache the processor has, definitely results in a much better performance because you are not going out to the main memory to fetch the data. And in addition to the CPU and the cache, the memory and the IO bandwidth are extremely critical for SAP HANA compute environment to be performing well. And at this stage, let me just give you a brief comparison of how the Power 9 processor actually compares against the Skylake and the Cascade Lakes. We are talking about maximum of 8 threads per core on IBM Power Systems, which actually drives a superior performance over what you see on the competing platforms. The memory bandwidth also is almost hovering around 2x the Intel processor technology. And on the IO bandwidth side, we are talking about 630 GB per second. And all these features, as I mentioned before, right, they significantly help in driving the performance for SAP HANA. So much so that you would find that for the SAP HANA workloads, whenever it is a memory-based sizing, what you will get on the IBM Power Systems is the maximum core to memory ratio possible for the SAP HANA workloads. If I have to summarize very quickly as to what is the value that IBM Power Systems bring for SAP HANA deployments, I would talk about flexibility being the foremost, because we are talking about clients who are moving from SAP ECC platform to SAP HANA platform. Not every installation is a greenfield installation. And this is where the flexibility comes into picture. So I'm talking about flexibility, not just from a virtualization standpoint, but also from managing different operating environments. So you could have AIX, you could have different versions of Linux, and the entire transition can actually be managed from the partitions on a single machine. These systems come with superior RAS features, and for 11 years in a row, they have been declared as those systems with the least amount of downtimes. I have already spoken about performance, so I will not talk about performance right now. But if you look at purely from a total cost of ownership perspective also, you will find that the IBM Power Systems build a compelling case. And today, I'm delighted to tell you that we have two speakers coming in and joining us for this event. Mr. Raja Babu Kota is the head of IT at Heritage Foods. He will be joining us and talking to us about about their SAP HANA deployment. And we will have Mr. Anil Rao, CEO of NTT Data Business Solutions India Private Limited. He will be talking about the experiences from the SAP implementation partners point of view. Thank you. So we are extremely honored and delighted to have Mr. Raja Babu Kota here with us. He is the head of IT for Heritage Foods Limited. It is one of the largest private sector dairy enterprises in southern India. And along with us, we also have Mr. Anil Rao. He is the CEO for NTT Data Business Solutions India Private Limited. So I have the honor of talking to Mr. Rajababu and Mr. Anil Rao here, and we will be talking to them about their experiences on SAP HANA. So my first question to you, Mr. Rajababu, if you can tell us something about the unique challenges of food and dairy industry and the challenges that are being faced by heritage foods, and how is your SAP HANA solution and implementation really addressing that?
Good afternoon, everyone. This is Raj Babu, as he introduced. I am heading the IT division from the Heritage. It is the highly perishable product. As far as the product is concerned, it is a FMCG company, and we collect the milk from the rural India and convert it into value-added products and supply to the urban place and semi-urban area. As we faced the challenges respect to the forecasting, demand planning, combined with the non-availability of the real time, we implemented SAP around 2010 November. And our supply chain spread over 24 hours. We cannot break. And the application implemented SAP is highly integrated. We cannot delink any function. When you procure the milk from rural India, it is integrated to the production. Without that data completed at that source level, we cannot go to the production area. When production planning data is not completed, we cannot deliver to the customers. This is the highly integrated linkage. This is the major challenge to upkeep the online data available at every place. This is the major challenge. And the IBM, we selected IBM Power Series while implementing the SAP itself, because there are different points considered with other vendors also. When we selected the hardware, we have to keep all things in the mind. One is the service, other is the upkeep time for the 24/7 into 365 days. We want to leverage this cutting edge technology to support our milk sourcing to the destination, consumer destination. This is about the selection of the hardware, and this is the challenges generally we'll face it. We facing earlier to the SAP implementation.
Thank you, sir. Anil, coming to you, right? So many SAP HANA installations from vCentric, iTelligence, and now with the NTT company, right? You and your teams have implemented SAP HANA across industries, across client sets. What would be a common learning across industries? Would you like to share that with us?
Hi, Ravi. Thank you for inviting me on the show. Yes, indeed, we have done many HANA migrations. In fact, the maximum number of HANA migrations were done by iTelligence and NTT Data put together. We have touched upon many different industries, right from food and beverage, CPG, textile, BFSI, and pharma, chemical, IMHE, you name it. And we have done migrations in all those industries. Many migrations have been in partnership with IBM, and we have jointly scripted some success stories together. So it has been so far still a leadership role for us in terms of HANA migrations and also the net new HANA implementations. So I would like to summarize the lessons or the challenges that we faced in this process. First of all, in the beginning, when we started the HANA migration back in 2015, so we had very basic questions. Okay, should we do just the database migration, or we should do application and the data migration together? Some customers took a route of just doing the data migration, and some did application migration as well. Especially pharma companies did the database migration first, and then they went for application migration because they have a lot of audit requirements, etc. So they want it to be extremely careful. So besides that, the other challenges that we faced was also these very critical decision-making points that suppose a customer is on a terabyte or a terabyte and a half database, the data accumulated over a period of, let's say, 5 years or 7 years. Should he bring the entire data to the new platform? So in some cases, customers were okay just to archive the data on the old platform and start afresh on the new HANA systems. So where you mean you can reduce your investments on the infrastructure. You can reduce your investment in terms of the efforts that is going to take to migrate the data entirely to the new platform. But some customers would say, because of, again, the audit requirements or other compliance requirements, they would shift all the data. So that was one. Two, the basic question was, where after I lift and shift the application from old platform to the HANA platform, is just the speed going to be the answer? Or am I going to get anything more than just the speed in the performance of generating reports or whatever? So a lot of these questions were answered during the planning, during the execution, and during the transformation journeys that we had with our customers. Our lesson learned is to be able to get maximum out of HANA, you need to build a long-term vision on how you want to innovate using SAP platform, SAP HANA platform, to provide real-time analytics to the business users, to provide mobility to the business users, and to build the new features and new applications faster using the latest and the greatest technology available with HANA. And speaking from infrastructure point of view, since we are having the conversation with IBM, during the migration, if you have a system like IBM, which is as stable as it is, which allows you to create multiple logical physical partitions within the system, it helps moving the data around. It helps testing the applications faster by copying the application from one machine to another. It helps provide all those security features that you need on the new HANA system. The major concern that all the customers have raised so far, since the entire data is going to be online, is it prone to hacking? That's where I believe that IBM platform comes in a big use with their RAS features, the reliability, availability, and security features. We have consumed all these lessons and experiences over a period of time. And every migration, every new implementation of HANA we went in, we helped customers to put that knowledge to work. Thanks, Ravi. Over to you.
Thank you, Anil. Great point regarding having a vision and having a plan for the SAP HANA. It's not just an application upgrade. Coming back to you, Mr. Raja Babu, SAP actually is providing support for ECC for a few more years, right? So every client actually has a choice when to move to SAP HANA. So would you tell us what were the factors which actually led to the decision of implementing SAP HANA at Heritage Foods? What were the drivers, sir?
Yeah, thank you, Ravi. The first point, at that point of time when HANA introduced, we understand that HANA capabilities. One is the speed, Next is the data size compression. And the third point is the adapt new updated business process availability in the S/4HANA new application. Over and above, we need to migrate, we need to refresh the hardware at that point of time. And there are a lot of business requirements which need to be integrated. It is standalone applications to be integrated to SAP to collect the source data from different functions. And there is mobile applications to be implemented and to be integrated to SAP. If I don't migrate, just refresh the hardware by keeping the ECC HANA in place. Again, this all rework to be done when I migrated to the S4 HANA, even after 4 years also. This is the major point considered. Why can't we go for the HANA? And by knowing all updated business process in HANA, plus new technology, that is HANA database structure is different from the earlier legacy system Oracle we used to have for the ECC. This is the major point considered for migration. Management also accepted immediately the proposal, and all business team put together to have the seamless application process has made us to migrate to the ECC to HANA. Though we have a time support up to 24 or 25, something like that.
Thank you, sir. And there is one last question for you. In your SAP and SAP HANA journey, how important was the role of infrastructure? And when I say infrastructure, we're talking about the physical infrastructure, the servers and the storage.
Yeah, because we need to run the application 24/7, 365 days. As I said, the process is highly integrated, and by nature of our product, highly perishable in nature. The turnaround time is 24 hours. Because the nature of the business and business requirements, we move to HANA. To that, we assume that earlier also we are using the Power Series server from IBM since 2010. It has given a excellent service and excellent facility, and there is no downtime during that 7 years period. Almost 8 years we used the Power Series 6 and 7 before going for the Power 8 series for existing model. These are all forced us to have in the same IBM range servers, and we know that the service and assurance of the uptime, that is what made us to go for the IBM infrastructure to move from ECC to HANA application. Over to Ravi.
Thank you, sir. We thank you for your business, and thank you for being a client of IBM Power Systems. It's an honor to be the vendor for you. Thank you so much. Anil, I have a couple of questions for you. At a personal level or even at an organization level, when application upgrades happen, right, they don't really change the behavior of the users, right? We continue to use the applications like we were using them before. So are you really seeing a different or an enhanced consumption pattern when clients actually move their applications from SAP HANA, SAP ECC to SAP HANA? Are they really making use of this transformation? Because this is not just an application upgrade.
Right. Agree with you, Ravi. So indeed, I think I've seen plenty of customers taking advantage of HANA and Fiori together. Right. So what we did is we built a kind of a vision for our customers to transform all those the fact sheets, the approval processes, and the transactions from using the code numbers to using the apps. So we have created hundreds of Fury applications, department by department, for our clients. So, like for example, we go to finance and say, okay, all these transactions that you do, all these analytics that you do, you don't need to remember those SAP old codes anymore. We will give the apps, we will load them onto your mobile phones or any other smart devices, and you're on. So we go from department to department. We built beautiful CXO dashboards on HANA. The CXO dashboards, one for the finance officer, one for the CEO, one for the marketing officer, one for the HR. So say, for example, a sales manager or the sales head wants to make a decision about whether to give the discount to a particular client who is negotiating with his sales manager at this moment. So when the sales manager calls him, he has to look at the dashboard and say how the customer has been paying him. Has the customer been a long-term partner with him? Has the customer been buying a lot of things from him? Based on those things, he will approve or disapprove the discounts, etc. So this happens just on the click of a button. And now Mr. CFO, for example, wants to know somewhere in Brazil, there were like $500,000 were spent in the month of June, which had a major impact on the bottom line in Brazil. So the CFO does not have to write emails and ask 10 people to see what happened. He can just go open his dashboard, click on Brazil. In Brazil, click on, click further to find out what kind of expense was it. Was it related to business or expansion of the office, infrastructure, whatever? Or is it somebody that money is been written off, etc., etc. So those kind of transformation is what we bought to the customers using the speed and the performance that HANA brought to the table, and coupled with C4HANA, which is the analytics part of SAP, and Fury applications. The marriage between these three is the beauty, what you get on HANA, right? So I would summarize this in saying that once you are on HANA, you can do wonders. You can provide awesome experience to your end users, make those end users wanting to have more by giving them and feeding them application one by one. It's not like there's no destination, by the way. It is a journey. You have to take it and keep building on it and provide the change management to the users slowly. And that's when you enjoy the journey of HANA transformation. Ravi.
Thank you, Anil. So rightly said, it's a journey and it continues. So it is not just a one-time changeover. It's not like an application upgrade from version 1.2 to 1.3.
Right.
And we feel that is actually driving a lot of innovation. Last question for you, Anil. From the perspective of an implementation service provider, right, who is more interested in the application and how the application interfaces with the business, how does infrastructure play a role for an implementation partner? Could you tell us about it?
Sure. I think, Ravi, application and infrastructure, they have to go hand in hand. Right? No matter how much standardization that has happened, there is always an edge that is seen by leading infrastructure providers like IBM. So our team kind of gets excited when they're doing the HANA migration or the new implementation of SAP HANA on IBM platform. I think it is the simplicity, number one, at which you can configure the landscape, SAP landscape on IBM machines. Yeah. Number two, the flexibility. IBM system provide a lot of flexibility to the team which is doing the migration or the implementation to create multiple copies of SAP systems during the testing and during the training. those kind of things. And last but not least, the customers look up to Intelligence and NTT together to provide a complete solution which is future-proof, which is reliable, which has to be secure. Earlier, I mentioned about the big question the customer has is, you're going to put my entire data online, real time, on the memory. So in the past, lot of storage systems were sold for data security. Okay, now with HANA, we are moving the data from sole highly secured storage systems to online volatile memory of the systems, right? So this is where, once again, it is fun to sell IBM because IBM is built on those RAS features. So we tell our customers blindly, if it is IBM, you don't need to worry about the security because that's one of the fundamental features they offer to the customers for SAP HANA. So I think that's about it. You know, if you ask me, Ravi, yeah, I think all other features can be, you know, squeezed and, you know, matched and whatever, but this is what unique thing I find about IBM.
Thank you, Anil. Yes, rightly said. Security is the founding stone, is in the foundation of IBM systems. And I'm glad that your team is finding that comfort in the flexibility and the RAS features and the performance of IBM Power Systems. Thank you for your partnership, Anil. Thank you for your business. It has been a pleasure doing the implementations together. With this, we come to the end of this session. Once again, I would like to thank you, Mr. Rajababu, for being here with us, talking about Heritage Foods and your SAP HANA implementation. One of the most challenging industries is dairy industry, and we know that with your SAP HANA implementation, you have been countering those challenges with ease. Thank you so much for being here, sir. And thank you so much, Anil, for being here with us. Thank you.
Thank you.
Welcome, Ravi. Thank you, Anil.
Thank you.
And one small announcement, if you have any questions here, please feel free to write them on the chat. We will be able to answer them either right away or we will pass on to the speakers and we will have the questions answered for you. Thank you so much. Stay tuned for the next session. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.